Hey there, welcome. How you doing? So I'm playing around with some new patches and some new creative things. I'm working on a library for Keyscape. It's about time, right? And so I will show that to you today. Let's see what's going on in the chat, if anyone's here. Welcome. Yeah, a few people hanging out. That's nice. So, this is a Plugin Guru live stream. Let's do this. Let's go to the... Oh. 1 second. Let me show you something real quick. Because there's a cool thing going on. I have a little sale happening at the site between now and next Sunday, the 21st. The 30% off summer fun sale is happening. So if you need inspiring patches, there's 80 libraries. I know I've got this new menu thing and I'm working and learning how to use it to organize this so it looks a lot better. It will look a lot better here shortly, I promise. But there's a whole bunch of libraries. They are on sale. You just automatically go to them. It will show you what the retail is and what the new price is. Add it to the cart. Save money on all sorts of libraries. Get inspired. So take a good look at all the different libraries available for all sorts of different plugins. And I thank you, as always, for your support. I shouldn't have that up there. That's going on. And I shouldn't have that. Oh, I've got all sorts of stuff on this page. Sorry about that. Good grief. What's going on? Let's see here. Go to there. Yeah, let's see, it's July 13th. It's warm here. There's a hurricane hitting down in New Orleans. I hope they're okay. In a car driving from Atlanta, Georgia to 2-hour drive. Yeah, no, Big E, this piano library, you're going to freak out. If you have a Keyscape, you're going to really want this library. It's a library. Let me do a little introduction. I've worked on some artwork. I'll explain how I made the artwork because it's pretty cool. It's called Kolours. And here is the artwork for the library. And it's playing on the native instruments K thing, Keyscape colors, and then the European way of spelling colors. What I did, so for this library at the moment, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this. Maybe I can get some input from you guys, what you think. A lot of the library patch names are actually paint colors. I'm going through and kind of choosing different colors, like the chili ones are grays, cutting are yellows. And then I'm going over here. I will even show you. Here it is. Benjamin Moore's site has all of these colors. You can preview colors of different themes, off-whites, trends. And I'm just going through and picking out different colors and using these names as the color names. So it's kind of fun. So as you go through the library, also see this wheel up here at the top? I took 2 screen captures to get the whole width of it. And there's a cool trick in Photoshop where you take a small thing like this and you can grab it and stretch it to make it out of proportion and make it square is what I did. And it took those colors and it turned it into this. So this is that color wheel exaggerated in length to give you this really cool stretch like this. So that's where the color thing comes from. It's actually Benjamin Moore's colors used. So I gotta have fun. This is like, my God, I make so many libraries. Got to do something different. There's gonna be chili. There's gonna be cutting. I have a couple just standard ones that play the way I like them to play. For example, let's do this. I've had the Keyscape library. I went to the introduction of it when it came out. I got it, installed it. For me, I couldn't really play the pianos and enjoy them. A lot of it had to do with the way they're programmed. So let me show you. This is how it sounds in Keyscape. And that short release on the release. This is basically the same, but with my a little more expressive. I just can't, I could never, it doesn't speak soft enough. And that release, it's not my taste in piano. And it's a personal thing. And so what I'm saying is you can go in and you can program it how you want. So there will be my version of piano. And then there's a ton of other stuff. The cuttings, these are all sorts of things for Toto and rock. Or like Coldplay kind of things. Wildflowers. This is using the CP80 and the Yamaha Grand together. And then the other side of it is so far chilly. There'll be hip hop pianos that will be more dirty and gritty and stuff. These are really unique, and this is where it gets really interesting. If you know Olafur Arnold's artists like that, I'm kind of drawing inspiration for some of these. Limiting their velocity ranges, putting additional things with them. It takes a minute to load some of these. Take a minute to load. Oh, this is the toy Glock piano added. Then you get into some of the other ones like Dahlia and so forth. Where there's like, it sounds like things randomly happening. And I'm making the personality of the pianos very different. I'm doing things with velocity changing. I'm doing a lot of stuff with timbre changing. You can shift this timbre to change the personality of the piano considerably. And then I'm using velocity to bump it up. So there's a ton of these, and they're all really fun. Here's Portland Gray. I love this one. Just this, here in Portland, we get these gray days sometimes where it just feels like this, you know. sizzle comes in. I invited Jason Schopfer to make some patches, and he's going after, he has this photo book that he absolutely loves. Let me see what the chat's saying. Hopefully you guys are digging this. Hi, Jim. What about Yamaha C7? Yeah, that's what's being used. Gonna bite the Keyscape bullet. There's some really nice things in the Keyscape library. I like the library a lot. There's a lot to play with. The piano samples are really good. It's more the programming approach, and it's a personal thing on taste, and you can change that. The electric pianos are great. The clavinets, all these unique things. This wing upright piano is really great. It's really great to have these sounds available. And when you put them into Omnisphere and then you get into doing the creative kind of stuff like what I'm working on, it's really great to have these new sources to play with. So that is kind of what I've been working on. We're going to, at the second half of this, maybe we'll make a piano or two together. The other side of this, as you could see from the beginning when I was playing, and I can show you here as well, I have some that I've created that are using the ARP with the cool features in the 2.6 update to the arpeggiator, so you can that's an arpeggiator pattern playing. Another one that's really fun, Abstractica. So this is one where I'm using low, so that I get bass notes that are always there, and a couple that are high that will grab just the highest notes, so I can play chords. And it sticks, it's a little bit more predictable to do things like that. So I'm really happy with it. I also have one called Seattle Pulse, which is fun because it's got the pulsing kind of thing. And when it's quantized, it's tight. So stuff like that. My goodness, Thundercloud is really pretty. So I'm really making this for players, people that like to play piano, that want different. I'm not trying to make this, if you go to the Keyscape Creative Library, they went all sorts of crazy places with these patches. These are using the Keyscape samples along with Omnisphere samples. You know, all sorts of cool, crazy places. And since that's already been done, I don't need to do that. So I was like, you know, I'm just gonna make something that has a lot of just really fun stuff to play. Because these patches exist in the Creative Library. So I'm making the piano sounds you can play over the top of that, right? So these are all just sorts of really cool, creative, like I said, there's also the cutting stuff, so if you need to play to back up Toto and just want to make a ton of fun stuff that you can play. So so that's where I'm at. I'm 30 patches in. Oh, I was going to show you these. These are the ones from, so Jason has been into these, he's got his photo book from Iceland, and it's got these incredible photographs. And so he's using that. It's really, really cool patches. Journey to Pajorsa. Just really, really, really cool. And then the Orfusa River, let's play in G minor. And this is a fun one. It's using the MKS-20 piano. I snuck a little bit of a pitchy G onto it so that you play it soft, it's not too snappy, but you play it harder. So this is what I'm working on for the next couple of weeks, and it's pretty cool. Recuperation clinic near Munich. That's great. Good to hear from you, Harold. Someone save Jason. He's drowning in reverb. Oh. Well, I will warn you, this is a vibe library. It's one where all, you know, the basic piano and stuff. That's not so reverby, but when you get to these Chile things and Icelandic things and I mean, you kill the reverb, it kind of probably. What I would probably do, I would turn off the Omnisphere reverb and I would use something like this to add the reverb, and I'd go to the presets in the browser. They have all these really great like these mystical ones that are like just crazy. And then bring down the mix. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. It depends on the mix and what else you have going on. Reverb is one of those kind of things. It depends on the genre you're doing. You know, typically you don't use a lot of reverb, but you know, it's easy enough to remove it if you don't want to have. So we'll make a couple more of those in a minute. Also, just if anybody has questions, 100% arpeggio rock blues styles. Hi, iReality. Yeah, this is what we do every Saturday. I'm here every Saturday, just hanging, working on a library. We'll make patches together. We'll write music together sometimes. It's all about just a little bit of inspiring and just, community hang. We do this each week. It's kind of fun to touch base with everybody, see how everybody's doing. The arpeggiator in Omnisphere has capabilities beyond just normal arpeggiating. But if you play a blues chord, there's a couple different places you can go. Let's see what this sounds like with the wing piano. Let's go Keyscape library down here to the W's. Let's do tack. Maybe the tack piano might be fun. I might actually try modulating this with random. Something like that. Not really bluesy, but you could play rocky things with that. Let's see if we find something to layer synthes wise with that. Let's say, go to the core library. Let's say Juno. That might be fun. Let's do this. Let's get the filter to snap a little more on. Little loud, so let's turn it down. We don't need quite so much sustain. 2.5. Let's see if I play this. I'm doing the shape of the release envelope is really important to these. Again, this is not really designed for playing. Like, I mean, you can, but because of the random that I'm doing to it, and when I layer this, I want it to die away sooner. And then I'm going to add an additional segment for the sustain. that kind of thing. I have a weird drum kit up. So that kind of thing, I like that vibe. That's nice. So this would be into BPM. It's cutting. So let's go with this. We'll go BPM. So we gotta go over here. Where's my? Do I lose my color wheel? I'm on fire. Just for 30 days. And you'll really love this. It's a piano. So I'm only programming mod wheel on these to change the sound. For this, it's pretty simple. We'll just have it bring this up brighter. Maybe a little added reverb, modulate. So yeah, you can play blues with this. You could play rock. I mean, and so let's save that with this update with quick patch save. So here you can help me out a little bit. I've got my colors for cutting, chill, hip hop, and normal. So I don't have any hip hop pianos yet, so we should do a hip hop piano or two. And I'm eating homemade cookies. Sorry to eat chocolate chip cookies in front of you, but it's the price you have to pay for me to be here every Saturday, you know? That turned out nice. Oh, the multis. Let me show you these because I want to do some more of these as well. These are really fun. So Noir came out for our Native Instruments Contact 6, and it did some really cool things with piano layered with piano, doing some things. And so we can replicate those types of things really easily in Omnis here. So I'm doing some of those where you have an arpeggiator pattern, and then on top of that, you just have a piano an octave lower. And because there's effects just on the octave up piano, it's really nice. Right? And then Piano Strata 2 is a little bit more, there's a really cool sound. Check this out. It's down here. It's the hang drum sustain air. Here's what it sounds like by itself. If we solo. Right? And then I have that layered with the C7. And I think I have a special, oh no, I don't have a special velocity curve on this one. Right? And then I have a piano on top. So it's kind of the dreamy version. I need to do one more where it's more in your face. Let's save this. I like that vibe a little better with it being a little bit brighter. Now, if we were going to take this more into the Olafur Arnold's kind of territory, it would have to be more like organic, not consistent. So it'd have to be there and then gone, and other things would show up, right? Let's do this. Let's have the volume halfway, and let's modulate this with these really cool steps. So if we go over here and we stay like the 4-step. So this makes it so that there's 4 steps. So it's consistent, but it's inconsistent. And then if we were to come up with another sound, and there's all sorts of sounds inside of Omnisphere that are cool for this other kind of stuff. There's this drying rack. Like this one. Now, how can we get that to be random, unpredictable? There's a couple ways. Let's tighten it up by shifting it, see if that helps. I think this is a single sample, so shifting's not doing anything. Because the rule is, in order for shifting to work, it needs multiple samples across the map. So crush. The biggest way to mess this up is obviously the sample start, because sample start is moving to different places. So let's just randomize that. And then let's shorten it so it's just a little blip there. So we just have this, it still needs to be more new, different, some bit special velocity curve. I'm gonna use a little bit more of a exaggerated low end, so it's only in the middle register, playing really soft. So even if you hit hard, it's real interesting. By changing the velocity curve here, you're limiting all of your parameters by velocity. If you have your filter set and you have the filter at maximum velocity, and watch this, let's show the velocity. I have this all the way up. Watch the range. It's not going to the maximum velocity because I've limited it with this velocity curve. This is an input MIDI velocity curve scale. So it's velocity limiting for not only the samples, because this is a velocity sensitive sample set. As you play harder, if I have this all the way up like to the max, it goes to all these other samples. I don't want it going to those samples. I'm curving it. So it's like more like a single sample piano map. Across the keyboard, samples are samples across each note and so forth, like they did. But I don't want to go to the other velocities. I don't want other samples in it. Right? So that's fun. Let's save that. This is Piano Strata 3. And I make the notes and stuff at the end. I'll add in a few notes. So let's go initialize this. Let's start with part 1, and let's go to the 8-foot piano. And let's think about tricking this out a little bit. I just have an EQ, but let's go to the presets, to the Plugin Guru presets. There's all sorts of phaser sets that I did. Maybe instead we might want to do like a wah. let's see here. Turn down my output here. And let's do this. Let's program a bit of a, like a, let's see if I get a click. In fact, I could actually go into Super Macho Drums. Let's do this. Let's go looking through the hip hop grooves from the groove player. So you guys that have Super Macho Drums, if you go to Super Macho Drums, hip hop, there's all of these different grooves. These are more old school. I need to do a new library of grooves, don't I? Because hip hop has changed a lot. Yeah, these are old school. Okay, so we don't want to do the old school. We want more of the new school, which is a lot different. So let's do that. And loop. And quantize loop. Oh, my 30-second notes are off. Oh, Skippy. My goodness. Let's see here. Da-da-da. Let me... My goodness. There we go. And then that hi-hat part probably needs to be tuned up in pitch. So you go over here to the editor, play that hi-hat and lock it. Now I can... And if I want it, let's do this. Here's Break Tweaker. Let's get that into this mix. I'll show you how to use it. So here's Break Tweaker. Let's go over here to the libraries and let's go to Urban. And let's try some of these. Like that'd be cool. So I just muted the whistle so everybody else is playing. And for tempo, I'm going to now sync it so it syncs to external clock because it was listening first to its own internal clock. My sequencer is at 77. So now I need to just play this. 1, 2. Sounds bad. Okay. So it sounded bad when I played it, but I go in and I quantize it to like quarter notes. And I have 2 kicks going on. So I want to go and either tune them or find out what the relationship is, because right now it's really bad, right? So if we listen to this, let's go to contact. And and the other thing I could do is this kick drum here on B is working. I played actually like the way that I sequenced it is I played C for the first note and then I played B for the rest of them. So let me go to the groove. I go to measure 1 and I'm going to change that kick that's playing. Oh, B, or yeah, C, to just play B. So I don't have any big drone coming, and I'm gonna actually turn down the velocity of these first hits. There. So now I've got brake tweaker combined with my groove. So here's my normal groove from Super Macho Drums. And you see that when that main downbeat hits, I made those softer, right? Those are loud, but then the downbeats, the downbeat is soft, and right here is soft. So that way, brake tweaker gets to kind of take over that part. Now, if I was doing this in a song production, let me do this. Let me lock this screen set so I can get back to it. Lock, so I can mess this up. I can bring this over here to show you. Everything's at 0 dB right now. So if I was doing this for a song, I would take everything and I would scale it down like enough that when this groove plays, I need to have headroom, right? Because then I have room for going up to the... Now, the sound and brake tweaker is not really in tune with my piano. So we need to go to this kick. And my piano it's a little flat. So if I hit right here, I need to tune it up. There, about 19. Let's see. Yeah. So you could do that kind of thing. Now this piano sound, I need to fix it a little bit. So let's get back to, so now I hit number 1 on my keypad to like reorganize everybody the way I want it. I don't want this to distort, so I'm going to choose a different distortion from what's in here, like loud. There. So you can see how the different libraries and plugins, you have to tweak things sometimes to get them to work the way that you want. Get it in key. Because I brought brake tweaker in with this huge kick, I had to look at my previous drum groove and adjust the kick drum of it so that it would work. Right? So that's cool. Cool. So we got a cool hip hop piano. Now, to make it dirtier and a little bit more like street, it just so happens one cool thing that's inside of the Keyscape library. Go over here and say, show me just Keyscape library. If you go down the list, let's see. If you go down this list, what do you see in the middle here? Oh, right in there, vinyl Keyscape, right? Record noise. Different era. You gotta turn it down, get it in the right place in the mix. But a little bit of that crackle and stuff might be really cool for Yeah. One thing that'd be really cool that does not exist is if you could be mono or stereo per oscillator inside of a patch. That'd be very nice to just make this a single. As it is, if you play a chord, you've got a whole... And you can turn off key tracking, but then you just get this. It's playing it a whole bunch of times. Isn't very appealing, so it's more... But it's got a cool vibe. All right, so we need to look at our color wheel at the blues. So let's come over here and look at blues. Downpour blue, Patriot, brilliant, big country. Ooh, Rocky Mountain Sky. Jason would like that. I kind of like, let's see, not Seaport, Electric Blue. Let's call it Electric Blue. Okay. So we go save patch as, this would be hip hop or just hip. How about that? And then what did I choose? Did I close? See if there's any other presets like an envelope. That doesn't seem to be working. Okay, let's look at the release. I want this to be slower. Needs to be faster than that. And let's say instead of record noise, let's find another keyboard sound. Let's see, I've got that. Let's do this. Let's copy this effect and mute it because it's on a layer. And I want to put this under the common so that I can maybe get other things. So let's go paste. So if I put a sound here, not record noise, I could I could do record noise if I wanted to, but no. Let's find. And get some detuning. So for this, this one's not gonna have any reverb. And I have an idea. You know how I put this onto the common? I'm gonna take it off common. I'm gonna copy this and turn it off. I'm gonna put it on A and B as, so they're separately being muted and they're each whining on their own. Because I wanna add a guitar to it. But I don't want the guitar to go through the wah. I want like a strat, or let's see what a strat sounds like. Something like that might be kind of cool. Let's see here. There's a couple choices. I could high pass filter, or I could EQ. There's all sorts of different ways to get this guitar to speak the way I want it to speak. I like it. So when you're trying to make something be like like it's a cohesive instrument in a way, you want the envelopes to kind of be similar. And I want more velocity control, so now let's do this. Let's get so that we can. This can be snappier. There. And as I have the wah on the A and B channels separate, I can work with this threshold. Oh wait, over here. Maybe different release shapes. I could even do something really crazy and pan them a little bit left and right. 3 5s, that's 15, so 65. That's cool. Cool. Okay, I like that. So this isn't Seaport Blue, right? Because we already did Seaport Blue, so we got to look for another color. So let's go back to our colors. Ooh, Costa Rica. I was just wrapping up a trip to Costa Rica last year, right? Oh, Utah Sky. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Where was that? Yeah, Utah Sky. Let's call it Utah Sky. All right, so save patch as hip Utah Sky. And then I'll set it up so that you can get ambience. Make it a little bit shorter so it's. And we can also bring up the effect cutoff, I believe. So if we go here and say modulate this with the wheel, like that, and like this, modulate this with the wheel. Yeah. So the library will be of all sorts of unique, new, creative. Let's see, save that quick. By the way, one cool new feature that's nice is that anytime that you've dirtied the patch, you've edited a parameter, a little asterisk will show up at the end of the name so you know that you've modified it. So if you can double check to make sure before you save it or not, if you want to save it with the new changes. Yeah, a bit more compression. Oh, that'd be good. Yeah. We have both a sustained compressor and then just an overall compressor. Let's bring down the strength of it a little bit. And what the compressor is going to do is it's going to average it out so it can't get quite as soft without it. It's not been brought, it's kind of like it boosts it and keeps it there, which is nice. Which when you're mixing is what you want. Things that are really, really dynamic become problems, especially something like there's a whole lot of possible dynamic range, so use a compressor to limit that. So good call, dude. All right, save that. And there is an Easter egg in this patch. If you want, you can turn on the wah on the common and it doesn't sound good. You don't want a double wah, I guess. So we get that Easter egg out of there. But we could put something like a cool delay. Set this to be like eighth notes. So if you want that, that will be there, but off. So I'll hide that in there, save the patch quick. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna make this kind of a shorter one. Want to hear Yamaha C7 in layers or made with multi? Well, the C7, that's the piano that's all the pianos are based on. That's the one, there's only a C7 for the acoustic piano inside of Keyscape. So these all, if it's over here, if there's piano, it's a C7. So I'm not sure what you mean, Ivar. It's already there, everywhere. But it's also able to be used, like I said, for the... So it's very nice. Okay? Yeah, if you hear acoustic piano in Omnisphere, it is coming. Is Keyscape worth it when there is already so many sounds already in Omnisphere? Well, the thing is, Keyscape is piano and keyboard sounds and unique keyboard sounds. There's all sorts of sound. These don't exist. There's nothing like them inside of Omnisphere. I'll give you a quick little rundown. Keyscape is a library that is right here, the Keyscape library. As you can see, there's Yamaha C7, and it's been produced. I'll show you also a shortcut trick. So the velocity and stuff takes a lot more programming to work on, But if the release is something you wish was a little better, you can go to tweak and take this release transition from 103 to about 180. And that makes it much nicer, or longer if you want. They're still too hyped up for being very dynamic playing wise. And then there's ballad, there's mellow. Remember, the only piano inside of Omnisphere is the what's called the Dream piano. So if you were to compare, let's do this. Let's copy this layer, copy layer, and go over here to B and paste this layer. Let's go over here and say Dream piano. And we say all of the libraries so that it can show up and say Dream. Oh, it's gonna have to be Dream piano. Or just go down the list, find Dream. See, Dream piano. Okay, so this is the piano that is inside of Omnisphere. The effects aren't really helping it, so let's go to B. So it's not piano at all, really, in some respects. It's piano with reverb, right? So Keyscape gives you a grand piano. It gives you all sorts of wonderful electric pianos to work with. There's a couple Keyscape libraries. Jason did one with Rocky Mountain Sounds, but it's more like these patches, the way they are layered with synthpad stuff. It's not one where it's like making totally new from scratch. So that's one thing that's kind of unique with what I'm doing is I don't want to do what's already been done, you know? There's all sorts of different variations on each one of these is a different vibe. You got to wait for some of them to load because they have a lot of samples to load. Yeah. Then there's clavinet, which is really great. I mean, there's a whole bunch of variations on that. The wing upright piano is a very nice upright type of a vibe. Celestes. Then you get to the museum instruments. Right? And they have all sorts of variations on effects and things to do for ways to use them. There's a Rhodes as well. So it's keys. So if you need keys, there's no samples like these inside of Omnisphere. So it adds a whole other layer. Okay, then you get to the really cool stuff. Oh, the duos are where they combine things together. And they spend a lot of time giving you really cool controls. Okay, then the wing. There's a Rhodes piano bass, which is really great. Chimatron, which is really a unique, cool instrument. The clavichord. These are so many. But it's all keyboard influence, you know? Yeah. Oh, you guys are all welcome. Clavinet, pianet, duos, then the Docasiola. And if you hit info, there's a ton of historic information. Right? Dulcet tone, which... If you're doing cinematics, sound scores, film scores, a lot of these are just perfect. Right? All sorts of stuff like that. Electric harpsichord. It's like the monkeys will be out here playing shortly. Harmochord. It's like a squeeze box, but as a keyboard. So really, really unique, especially when you get to the multi-octaves. And for me, this is the stuff that makes Keyscape even the most valuable, because I think there's other pianos that are just, for me, more my taste. But these unique instruments are things that you can't find anywhere. They don't exist. I don't know where else you could go to find a harmochord that plays like this, right? The MKS-20, there's all sorts. Really, really great stuff. I mean, so if you need keyboard, I mean, I haven't even gone through the whole list. There's this really cool thing called this student butterfly piano. There's so much stuff here, and so well recorded. It's at the high standards of Spectrasonics recording techniques, so it's all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's definitely worth it if you are a keyboard player. Toy pianos, Vibanet, Westminster Bassett, it's mono for bass. So really unique stuff. Unique. CP70, which is going to take a minute to load because it's got a lot of samples. So if you're a fan of early Peter Gabriel, so yeah, there's an awful lot to explore, more duos. Now because Keyscape is a separate plugin that if you go to your plugin list, it shows up there. All of this stuff didn't do things using sounds from Omnisphere. It's only like the duos and things, they could only use the samples that were part of Keyscape. And so when they made Keyscape creative, I thought it was interesting. They did some, but anytime they went for keyboard sounds, they were more these cinematic, really big. You know, there's some really great stuff in here for sure. but there's not like the rock layer. There's not like stuff that I thought at least I didn't find when I went through all the patches. So I'm kind of finding this hole between going super creative and just the pianos and finding something in between that's like just new instruments using these samples and Omnisphere samples. So that's where I am kind of focusing. But make sure when you get Keyscape that you go through the creative library, because they are very talented with their programming, and there's all sorts of really cool tricks and all sorts of things in here for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of patches. It's one reason why I'm waiting this long before releasing a Keyscape library, is because there have been all of these patches added to Keyscape to make it a pretty hugely fleshed out library. So I'm kind of finding this little area outside of what they have done already for making colors. So there you go. I toured a CP70. Yes, that is very hard to move a CP70. Yeah. So there, food for thought. Let's do our shout outs. It's good to see so many of you on a Saturday in the middle of June. Don't forget there's a 30% sale at the site until the 21st. So you can save some money and sit inside of your studio playing keyboard sounds instead of being outside. I know, it's cruel. It's cruel. It's tough to sell synthesizer patches in the summertime. All right, shout out. Where's everybody at today? I'm shouting out from Portland, Oregon. Shout out from Germany, right on. Norway, Ontario, Canada, right on, Shane. Wait till you guys see everything being added to Unify. We're almost ready to start showing you some of the inner workings and things going on there. It's pretty amazing. Beyond pretty amazing, actually. Okay, cool, Bernie. Good to see you from Phoenix, Arizona, Nottingham, UK, San Fernando. I lived in the Valley for 18 years, right on, before moving up here in 2005. Suitcase Toms. Yeah, if you go through the Keyscape creative patches, there's just some crazy. It's like, wait. This is using the Rhodes piano. From Munich, right on. Tustin, I know where that is. So make sure you go through all the Keyscape. If you add this to Omnisphere, you won't be sorry. Again, you need to be a keyboard player to really appreciate it. But even if you can't, it's a lot of instruments that don't exist inside of Omnisphere. And if Omnisphere is your favorite synth to work with, it definitely expands the vocabulary of what it can do. All right. Cheers, everybody. When did you move from the Valley to Oregon? 2005. I lived from 1988. I moved to Van Nuys, right off the 405 freeway, to start working full-time for Korg, first as a product specialist. And I sent my M1 patches to Japan. They were impressed with that and gave me the assignment of doing the drum kit and the map assignment for a PCM card for the M1 called the Drums, the first drum card. And so that was in 2000, that was what, 1989, 1990. I went full-time into voicing. We had little Wanger rooms in Canoga Park where Korg used to have an offices set up for a warehouse. Because they used to have a warehouse on the East Coast and the West Coast. And then in the 90s, they shipped all of the shipping just to the East Coast. And they closed down the offices in Canoga Park. And if you want to hear a funny, just story, we'd finished doing the Wave Station and a couple others since we were working on stuff. And when they closed down the offices in Canoga Park, They originally wanted myself and Ben Dowling, the other product specialist slash voicing person. He went to Japan and worked on the M1 and worked on the Wave Station and worked on other synthesizers as well. They wanted us to move to San Jose, and both of us were like, no way, we're not leaving. I'm not from the Valley. I mean, I lived in Eastern Oregon most of my life. My mom and dad owned a music store in Ontario, Oregon. I lived in Seattle for 3 years, worked at a music store there. That's where I met Ben. He would be the product specialist that would come in, and I was a salesperson at a music store that actually made patches for my customers. So a guy would come in and say, I could buy this from somewhere else. I'm like, okay, but you won't get my patches and you won't get free lessons from me. Every week I had a synthesizer programming class. We would go out to high schools and do clinics showing MIDI and sampling to the high school students. It's really, really fun. All sorts of things that we did that were pretty cutting edge for in the mid 80s with MIDI. But yeah, I lived in LA for 18 years. So we're going to wrap up. Yes, if you're a keyboard player, Keyscape should be something you want to add to your Omnisphere plugin it just adds a whole bunch of stuff. And when you get Kolours, you'll have all sorts of really cool Moody, cutting, hip hop, vibey, wah-wah, pianos and stuff to go along with everything else. So coolio. Be well. See you next week. And keep being creative. All right. So I'll see you later. Bye, everybody. See you later.